Hello and welcome to a new episode of Film Seizure. I am Jeff Arbuckle. With me as always, Jason Oliver. Jason.
Hello. I'm feeling a faint feeling of deja vu.
A little bit. We're going to talk about that here in just a moment.
Yeah.
Joining us, who does not have this faint feeling of deja vu on this episode, Chuck Moore.
I mean, hi. I have a little bit of a feeling of deja vu because I never get helloed first. I'm joking.
You had a whole streak of getting helloed first. We were purposefully helloing you.
We were purposely helloing you first.
I just wanted to join in on the deja vu.
We were affirmative helloing you.
I was trying to throw Jason off by helloing him first this time.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. So welcome to our first revisited episode.
Yeah.
And this is something, Chuck, you had suggested that it would be fun, especially in a few different ways. One, covering some episodes of movies that maybe you weren't a part of in the earlier stages of the Film Seizure life cycle. Also, sometimes it's just fun to revisit a movie after a few years.
Yeah, I mean, there's some even I'd like a second shot at because when I was green, I wasn't very talkative as I remember it, but maybe I was. But yeah, I'm excited for this one.
About that?
I was very blue about that. And then I got red in the face. And I got yellow and I didn't say anything for a while. and then I read It's Okay to Speak Your Mind. So I browned it.
You browned it?
Yep.
I dropped the brown down on this episode.
That's how Chuck opens episodes. You're like, hello.
Yeah. If I would have done the opening to this, it would have been real fucking sexy.
Yeah, it would have been. But you didn't, and I did, and it's not sexy, and that's okay. I'm not here to be sexy. I'm not here to be your sex symbol, people.
But are you here to be my number one
guy? Yes. Yeah. So for the first time in doing our little Film Seizure Revisited series here, I chose Batman 1989 because in just a matter of time after this episode drops, like 30 hours from the time that this drops, you can literally go back to the theater and see Michael Keaton play Batman in The Flash, or as I like to call it, Batman and his pals, because all the trailers have been about Batman.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk a little bit about what we've seen in the trailers for that. We're going to have to talk a little bit. I'm a little on the fence, but
I'm going to see it, and I am going to have an At the Movies review of it. But I agree, we need to talk because, like I said, this movie is like, who's this Flash character? Get him the fuck out of here. We got Batman. we
got multiple Batman. Yeah.
If we had been able to go 7 more episodes, if I'm counting correctly, you would have hit 200 episodes on the dot.
Since we talked about this?
It was like number 72.
Yeah,
current release is 263.
Yeah, this is episode 266. So right, pretty close to 200 full episodes later.
We were in year 2. We were well, this is Batman year 1. We were in Film Seizure year 2.
Yeah, 4 years later, revisiting. So a lot, I think, can change in 4 years. Maybe not.
Not really. I love this movie the same today as I did on June 23rd, 1989.
I haven't seen this movie since we reviewed it or talked about it. It was on a review. It was what we talked about, and I still love this movie. I do.
I'm going to say something somewhat controversial. This is maybe not the best Batman movie. This is absolutely my favorite Batman movie, and it's my favorite Batman and my favorite Joker.
Who would that be controversial to? It's your favorite.
Well, no, it's going to be some people who are like,
if it's your favorite, who gives a shit?
I don't care.
And I also think there's a lot of people who would agree.
I do too.
I will say that this time around, maybe it was the HD. I don't know. I felt the movie felt campier than it had for me in the past. This time,
Well, I
around.
think some of that is just age. I mean,
It is.
I mean, because here's the thing about
smaller.
Batman.
It felt smaller. It felt like the fact that it's all shot on a stage like really came out for me this time around.
See,
I don't know why.
I love that though. I love that.
I
about
like
this movie.
it, but it just felt very, very, very perfectly executed. Don't get me wrong. Like it hits all the beats. It has all the impact, but it didn't feel the same way it felt to me as a 10-year-old kid.
Well, that's.
No.
I mean, that's.
You
fair.
know what I
But
mean? It just didn't have. It doesn't have the impact for me anymore. I like it. It's got a whole lot of nostalgia. I love like you were saying. There's so many moments where you're just saying the lines out loud, right? I mean, it has all of that to it. I mean, absolutely, it is such a part of my DNA. But I couldn't help but just kind of like get distracted by all the nitpicking things this time around. I don't know why. Maybe it was because I had drank a Delta 8 soda and didn't expect to get as stoned as I did.
fair. I mean, you do nitpick though. I mean,
I do.
It is. I mean,
I sometimes get really nitpicky when I get a little stoned. So
Never noticed you ever getting nitpicky when you get stoned or drunk. So
Right,
never
never.
noticed. That's new.
Never.
That's new to me.
I'm usually like a little more forgiving on the alcohol side of things, but on the stony side of things, I start to see a lot of flaws. Yeah.
Okay, fair. But I mean,
We're doing a redo. I gushed all over this movie 3-4 years ago.
well, but yeah,
I got to bring something new to the table.
Well, I mean, I don't feel required to do that.
But I think what we need to do is we need to ask Chuck about his reaction to this movie in the time in 1989, because we went on for about 30 minutes talking about Batman as its marketing campaign, about how
Well, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
we did talk about it then too. And how when we saw it in the theater and what had and the effect it had on us and all of that, like we talked about that a lot. I want to hear that from Chuck.
Yes.
I'm happy to do that, but Jeff, did you have a burning point you wanted to get out there?
No, I just fucking love this movie. It's my favorite Batman. And yes, I know there are better Batmans. And yes, with time, this does have a camp factor. But let's be honest, what is Batman to ask a typical person who doesn't necessarily read the comics, who don't necessarily know anything other than movies or TV, ask them what they know about Batman. He's like, oh, Batman's brooding. Ooh, sad Batman.
Yeah.
This is now granted, this has a lot to do with that perception, but that camp is only getting more appreciated by me, and fuck, this movie changed my life.
Well, I'm going to
So
say
go ahead,
it too. I'm going to say it too that Michael Keaton's still my favorite. He's still
Okay.
my favorite.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely still my favorite. Yep.
Okay. I love my sad, brooding Batman. I love my sad, brooding
You love
Batman.
him.
Like,
You love him.
it's
And
been
that's
my
fine.
Batman.
That's perfectly legit too.
It's been my Batman since I was a kid, right? Like, that's the Batman I read. But I'm going to take you back. And Jeff, you can correct me because timetables in my head sometimes get broken. But this movie came out the summer between 6th and 7th grade. Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Because fall of 91 was 9th grade for us. So
Yes. So, yes.
9. Yeah. 8, 7.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Okay. So this was during the phase of my life where everything I wore was black. I wore black pants we called it pegging back then. I don't know what
Oh yeah.
anyone called it.
You tight rolled.
You tight rolled your pants.
Yeah.
Tight
It's
roll
just-
is what I would call it. But
That's-
pegging
We
is
didn't
hilarious.
call it pegging either. We call
Yeah.
it tight roll, but yeah.
We don't peg.
You call it whatever you want, Chuck.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, pegging is a different thing now, and my kid laughed at me when I was talking about it. Which, when your 17-year-old kid laughs at you when you bring up pegging. You're a little nervous, but
Yeah, it was like, how do you know about pegging?
but I wore black pants. I had a Oakland Raiders, I think they were Oakland at the time, shirt.
No,
that
they were
said-
Los Angeles back at that time.
I said Los Angeles earlier, and then I questioned myself when I was talking to my children. So yeah, okay, they were the Los Angeles Raiders, and my shirt said "Real men wear black." And then
that was a Raiders thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had a black Batman shirt for this movie, and I fucking loved it. I probably wore it until it fell off my back, right? I probably wore those two shirts like, you know, you're in 7th grade, you wear these shirts too much. But this was like, when Batman came out, it was, I don't know how many years on the heels of Beetlejuice it was, but I love Beetlejuice.
Just 1 year.
1 year. I love Beetlejuice. I love Michael Keaton was probably my favorite actor, right? Like I love Gung Ho. I loved Beetlejuice. I'm trying to remember the other movie, Mr. Mom. Mr. Mom. I loved all those fucking movies. So they couldn't have been more perfect, right? And then I saw it and I was like, this can't be more perfect. I love Jack Nicholson too. Like I loved everything about this movie was a perfect storm in that time. And I do remember having the shirt. I had a cup. I had all them. Like I didn't really buy action figures then for some reason. So
I definitely had those because those were like I loved the Batwing.
Was that Mattel or Warner?
Kenner.
Kenner
made them. Yeah.
So Star Wars. The same people that made the Star Wars figures at the time. Okay. Perfect Storm. Love this movie. Love it now. It is not, I don't know if you guys both said it. Michael Keaton, how do I say this now? He doesn't quite fit the role for me anymore.
I think the reason why I like him the best is that as Bruce Wayne, he is more unassuming to the point where like that whole scene where Vicky Vale's like, do you know which one of these guys is Bruce Wayne? It's kind of perfect that he ends up being more than what he is.
Yeah, but it's kind of stupid that none of them know who Bruce Wayne is in the first place.
I agree with that.
Well, but Vicky Vale is new to town, so
it doesn't matter that. But forget her. That's fair if she doesn't know. But Robert Wall not knowing who the hell he is, and everyone else, like this.
I put that in my notes. Yeah.
That is the most annoying thing to me about this movie. That everyone's like, "Who's this Bruce Wayne character? What happened to his parents?" It's like bullshit.
Everyone knows knowledge. Yeah, exactly.
Everyone knows who fucking Bruce Wayne is. He's the billionaire in Gotham City, and he's
should be the
biggest philanthropist.
Everyone knows. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, I think I like him as Batman. I do. I didn't really love him as Bruce Wayne this time around. But again, I love my sad and broody Batman. So his Michael Caine multiplicity personality, like Mr. Mom personality, like Bruce he's allowed to be fun. But man, he was a little too fly by the seat of his pants for me.
There's so many nuances to his performance that I love.
Yeah.
I love when he's playing the Bruce Wayne persona, especially in that scene where Kim Basinger and Robert Wall are making fun of him.
Yeah.
In the costume, and he's like walking up behind him, and the look on his face is just so good. He's like this sly kind of mischievous look on his face. I buy that. I love it, and I love the scene of the moment where he is where he notices Jack Napier.
Wait a minute,
right?
Jason, he bought it because he bought it in Japan.
He did. He bought it in Japan. It's like, and yes,
I love the way he said because I bought it in Japan.
I just love like when you're watching him watch them.
Yeah,
from behind, and it's just a really well constructed moment.
Well, he's got a little bit of his Batman there.
Yeah, he's kind of creeping. He's silent. Yeah, they only know he's there when he lets them know he's there. I love his reactions to when the Joker is at the in front of City Hall.
Oh yeah,
right? And
he's great in that scene. Like, it's
he's
wonderful.
It's just total inquisitive, but also perplexion. I like it when he's watching footage at home in the Batcave, right? And he's just like, you can kind of see him. There's an emotion behind it, but also like this kind of like, wow, this guy is fucking crazy, right? And there's more. I think there's just more to his performance than some of the Christian Bale stuff, where he was very broody, he was very like angry, he had motivations that made sense, but it was a little bit more one note. Keaton is just on lots of notes.
That's fair.
I love all his notes.
Every note you touched on there is the Bruce Wayne I like.
Yeah.
When he goes kind of comedy, Michael Keaton is when it loses me a little bit.
When is that? Are you talking about the "Let's Go Nuts" moment?
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's his.
Well, the only reason why he does that is that he's got the upper hand with the plate.
Right.
He doesn't have the upper hand.
But
he never has the upper hand in that scene.
No, but he knows that he's got a little bit of the Batman armor on.
He's trying to lead to an outcome in that scene. Yes.
I think there's two things in that scene that are really interesting to me. There's he kind of knows this guy's crazy. He's got a couple of loose screws, right? So he's trying
to hurt people.
So he's trying to play up to that. He's like, if I can show that I'm as crazy as him, then maybe I can like scare off the bear, right? And then there's also the part of him that is kind of that crazy. He is a man who dresses up like a bat, right? He kind of is capable of that kind of nuts. So he's almost just like, I'm not pretending I'm on your level. I am on your level. I think that scene is like genius.
I agree with that, but I think his goofy parts of the performance do take away from that.
What, so I don't have performance or somewhere else? Like where?
Just in general, like when he does that, it almost seems comical when it should be. It should be seen as like Batman is fucking nuts too, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm bringing in Michael Keaton with me instead of anything he did, if that makes sense.
Michael Keaton is the least of my problems in this movie.
I mean, I like him. I like him a lot. I think he does a great job, and he is up there in the Batman category. I'm kind of splitting hairs on him a little bit. And there aren't that many that we can really compare to, right? But
there's enough to where we can say, I mean, there's Adam West, there's Michael Keaton, there's
Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Christian Bale,
and
Robert Pattinson.
So there's enough that we can make a true, like delineation between the good and the bad.
Yeah, I mean he's one of my favorite Batmans, and he's middle of the road for Bruce Wayne.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, I will say that I still think that. I mean, if I was to come up with some sort of bullshit scoring system, Val Kilmer is probably still a slightly better Bruce Wayne for me.
I just love Val Kilmer, but
that's fair. No,
I like him too. I like him in that. That's just got some way too.
I will say that that
was just way too campy.
Yeah.
Then they even out camped it with the next one.
Yeah, I could handle the camp of Batman Forever. It was Batman and Robin where I was like, I'm out.
Yeah. I'm out. It was too much.
There is one thing. There is one scene in this movie that did stick out for me this time, and it felt like, the studio gave a note.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so one of the things that legitimized Superman the movie for a lot of people was the romance between Clark Kent and Lois Lane and Superman, particularly Superman and Lois Lane. There's a scene where Alfred lets Vicky into the Batcave, and there's a bunch of like, are we ever going to be in love with each other? Is this going to work? And it's like, oh, this is a studio note.
Yeah.
This is not necessary. Everything else was fine. This did not have to be done this way. Although he delivers a line that I think is fucking great, which is, he's out there and I got to go to work. That's a great line.
Yeah.
But that scene is not a great scene, and it feels like it was recommended.
I agree. I feel like the romance was it should have stayed manufactured on both sides, because he's just trying to kind of get close to her to find out what she knows about the Batman, and she has kind of got suspicions about him. First, she's like, interesting guy, very rich. Who is this? And then when the whole thing with him not going out of town comes to light, she's like, who is this guy? And she starts looking at him. I like their dynamic better when they're both kind of suspicious of one another.
Yeah.
When it becomes a romance, it's like, fuck you, dude. You're Batman year one. You don't have time for this shit. You know?
Well, although there is kind of a follow-up to it. At the end, she doesn't look so sure about this.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
when Alfred just showing up with a
he's
a limousine.
And he's like, he's going to be late, and there you have that moment where, and that's when you have that moment where it's like, I'm nuts. This isn't going to work. Yeah, this none of this is good.
Right. But it's better for him that she knows. So that I buy.
How did she learn this whole thing anyway? I was so confused in that scene when she shows up and she just knows he's Batman.
Because Alfred let her into the Batcave.
Yeah, that's how she learned. That's what we were talking about when you stepped up. It felt like a studio note. Yeah.
No. I mean, I heard all that, but I didn't know that. I thought it felt like I missed something.
No,
because she was let in.
Alfred wants Bruce Wayne to stop being Batman.
Right.
He said
he didn't want him to stop being Batman. He wants him to have a relationship.
Well, he does say, I'm a little too old to be grieving for friends and their sons.
That's true.
So he does not fully approve of Bruce Wayne's
But he also
activities.
was the one at the party who's like the commissioner left quite unexpectedly.
Well, yeah, because at that point in time, there's no catalyst to change what Bruce Wayne's doing.
Yeah,
he sees, because there's multiple.
But someone who doesn't approve of what he's doing isn't also going to actively give him information.
Well, I mean, he is also his employee, so it's like, but there are multiple lines after he meets Vicky Vale that he basically says, hey, go do that. Don't do this, do that.
He would prefer, yes. He sees at that point sees a different life for Bruce. I understand. Right. Okay.
So that's when he's like, you know what? I'm going to out Bruce as Batman to the lady that I want. I would rather he do things with.
Which you're fired. You're fired, Alfred. You're fired. You can live in the mansion, but you don't have any more Batman business.
It's not a really great way to do it either. In reality,
I agree. This is the worst part of the movie to me. Is the Vicky Vale relationship with Bruce? It doesn't need to be this way.
It's just It's just that scene. It's just that scene that doesn't really work for me. I mean, because like there are like the scene where they're sitting at the super duper stupid long table. I love that scene.
That's great. I love that too. They end up in the kitchen and Alfred's telling stories. That's really nice.
All of that is what we'd expect. But there, I just felt like Warner Brothers is like, well, we can't do any of this unless unless you inject this soap opera-y scene where they're talking about loving each other, because Superman and Lois Lane love each other. Why can't these two?
Right.
And Jason just turned into the penguin.
Right. Well, we don't need to belabor this anymore. I think.
But anyway, yeah. So, but no, like,
you know what else stuck out to me? I might have mentioned this in the last episode. I don't remember, but that little animated effect
when he's on the roof.
Yeah, I hate it so much.
Me too. It's bad.
Oh, I hate it so much. I wish that I honestly like. I'm not a huge fan of going in and fixing stuff, but I wish they'd fix that. I hate it. It looks so bad, and I don't understand. I don't even understand why. I feel like they missed an insert shot, and they had to fix that in post, and they had no other options.
Well, they probably what probably ended up happening was that they had an edit. They figured this doesn't really work, so we need to do this a different way.
Yeah.
We can't do a reshoot or something.
It's so jarringly bad.
Especially now in like high def. Like,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have noticed it in DVD. Maybe, I don't know.
I hate to break it to everybody, but Tim Burton's movies, particularly his early ones, are janky as fuck. Like real bad.
There are a lot of wires you can see now too.
Oh yeah,
which are just kind of fun. Like I don't begrudge the movie any of that stuff. You know,
like remember like with Pee-wee's Big Adventure, seeing the chain come up underneath the little he makes movies on a, dare I say, Roger Corman level at times.
It just didn't help. Like some of that stuff didn't help the overall like grandeur of the movie as I'm watching it, because I'm just like, man, this movie is a lot smaller than it was when I was 10 years old. You know,
34 years ago, it's a different story too. I mean,
totally.
I know, but we saw Flash Gordon though. That looks ginormous.
It does,
and it was like 20 years earlier. So
you're right. It looks.
We can only make so many excuses for the time.
It's true.
I mean, and some of that also is. I mean, there may have been.
You don't have to make excuses for it. It's fine.
I mean, the excuse is Tim Burton. I mean, that's just what it is. Tim Burton wanted it to look this way.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't. I mean, like.
I mean, it made
Christopher Nolan
money back. So what the hell do I know? You know?
Right.
I mean, Christopher Nolan wanted to shoot Gotham City as Chicago, right? Which makes sense. But Tim Burton was like, no, we're going to do this. It's going to look like a comic book city, you know?
Yeah, it did. Right. And it did. And it honestly, like, the more I watch this movie today, the more it feels like the comic book. Like, when I watched this movie when it came out, and for subsequent viewings for a long time, it felt like almost removed from the comic. Like, it felt elevated from the comic. Like, it was this it was so dark, and it was like this perfect, like I don't know, this almost hyper real feeling about it, right?
Nolan's Batman is that now.
And then of course, I mean, Nolan blew that out of the water. And now the more I watch this Batman, I realize really how closely it adhered to a lot of the feel of the comics. I mean, it isn't that far off from the comics. It just is very far off from the previous Batman we knew, which was, you know,
Pow Bang Boom.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
Well, it is the difference between.
It's all in relativity, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, like if you read a lot of the Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams Batman, it's this.
Yeah.
You know, it's moody, it's atmospheric.
It's pre Frank Miller.
Right, right, because Frank Miller was kind of taking it back to another version of Batman that was even before that. You know, that goes back to like his late 30s, early 40s style, or his kind of, what would that be like? I don't know, grittier kind of,
detective noir.
Well,
Batman.
I mean, really, Denny O'Neil was the one who did a lot of the, kind of detective stuff. I was just thinking of like going in Dick Tracy style and beating the shit out of bad guys.
Right.
Which, I mean, Frank Miller's maybe his brain broke long before 9/11. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's to the people reading the comics, Tim Burton delivered but the problem was that people were fucking pissed that this was the Batman that was coming out and not Adam West and, and Burt Ward.
Yeah.
That is popular perception versus reality. And yeah, it's I remember the big stink that was raised by it all, and it's like, I don't know, this looks like Batman to me.
How would you
I don't
have
think ever
remembered
a
the
big
stink?
at all.
How would you remember the stink? Where was it?
Oh, I remember in late 1988, the Indianapolis Star ran a story about Batman and the hubbub around Michael Keaton being picked. And
I remember that, but
like
not that article. But yeah,
but I mean, like, and I remember even like until it was actually anything was seen, until the movie actually came out. Like, I mean, this was stuff that was talked about on Entertainment Tonight. My brothers, I think, even like, I mean, because they grew up with Adam West, it's like, and I mean, I did too, but I also realized that today, 46-year-old me cannot watch a single episode of that Batman show. It's fucking terrible. It's terrible.
It's kind of
bad. It is real, like, it is stupid. But anyway,
imagine if these people had a way to get their points across like quickly on some kind of thing. Like, fandom was bad. Fandom was bad when we were kids. Apparently, you just told me.
Yeah, it was. It really was. Yeah,
I do want to mention two things because this movie fooled me. At the very beginning, I was like, "Oh, the fucking why is Bruce Wayne being such an idiot in this alleyway?" Like, it fooled me into thinking that was Bruce and his parents.
Yeah,
because I hadn't seen it in a lot longer than you guys, which was kind of funny to me. I'm like, oh shit, that's not Bruce Wayne.
Oh, it sets you up for that. Yeah, it definitely sets you up for that because it's like, oh, it's going to be origin story. We're all familiar with the origin story. Yeah.
And then, the second thing was going to be cartoon Batman on the roof. Sorry, that was my second note. We already talked about that.
Yeah, I didn't love that. So, all right.
Oh, no, wait, I have one more. Sorry. Bob Kane.
Yeah.
The drawing in the newspaper.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you saw that, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
Like, it would mean something to you that Bob Kane drew that. First time I noticed it, because it probably wasn't clear the last time I watched this movie. But yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Bob Kane.
That was a cool Batman drawing, though.
No, it is a cool if he actually drew it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, stay tuned. Sometime in 2024, B Movie Enema the series is going to do Track of the Moon Beast, which was a screenplay written by Bill Finger, who has a hell of a lot more to do with Batman than Bob Kane can take credit for.
Sure.
But I'll talk more about that when we get to that. How's that?
Cool. Fair. Go ahead, Jason. Sorry I interjected there.
I don't even know what I was going to say. I was
of course,
maybe mention that Jack Palance is buried in this movie, but he's amazing.
He's so Jack Palance.
Oh, he is so Jack Palance, but it's
and I love, and then I love when Jack Nicholson mocks Jack Palance.
Yes,
it's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
The number one guy line.
Number one guy line. Yeah.
Well, and then of course, the big line everybody knows is the whole "I'm Batman," and they did not wait to give us that. It's like it's the guy on the roof, and I love the whole they're drinking Drano, trying to this is a new phenomenon. This Batman guy is something new in Gotham City,
right?
And
exactly.
So
it's year one. It's year one. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's I do always kind of forget that this is almost day one, week one for Batman. Yeah.
Right. And Knox is fighting to get the story. He's wanting the scoop.
Yep.
He wants that Pulitzer.
I like Robert Wall in this.
Oh yeah.
Bit. Yeah.
Oh, he's great. I mean, it's smart to give him the role that they do because he is kind of our surrogate.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we like looking at Kim Basinger too. And, oh yeah, we want to know more about this Batman guy too. And, and it's like, he has the audience sensibility. That's something I realized much, much later. When I was a kid, I was like, more Batman, more Joker.
Yeah. You know what I want to talk about real quick? I think Chuck will appreciate this conversation. The all of the moments in Nolan's The Dark Knight that are direct nods to this movie.
You mean like the pen?
I mean, there's so many. Yeah, the pen is indeed mightier than the sword. Yeah, and the pencil trick, that's one.
Yeah,
Absolutely. The showdown in the streets when Joker and Jack Nicholson pulls out the big ass fucking gun.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's facing down the Batwing. I mean, that's the Batman on his Batcycle in Dark Knight.
Like,
I mean, that's
on.
like almost
to Joker standing in the road.
And he's like, come get me. Yeah,
almost to a T, right? I mean, it's cool. Like those little moments are really neat. It's like Nolan knows what works in this movie, right? And he's like, I'm not going to shy away from that. Yeah,
right. And he changed it too to utilize the same instruments but present it in a different way, which was cool.
Yeah,
like I don't know. The Dark Knight to me is like that's the Batman masterpiece to me. But I do.
Most would agree. I mean, it's hard.
I mean, I would say that is the better movie, but it's not the one I'd rather watch. If they say, here's all the Batman movies, which one do you want to watch? And I'd be like, Batman or Robin every time. No, it would be this one.
I wouldn't be surprised by that, Jeff.
No,
honestly.
no,
not the Batman and what was the Batman when they turned the UN to dust? You know that one?
Oh God! Well,
Adam West.
I have watched that one many times in my life. But
can we talk about how many people Batman kills in this fucking movie?
So everybody?
Yeah, he kills a lot. So does the Joker. Joker kills a lot of people. Those people aren't just gassed; they're dead.
Yeah, there's a lot of murder in this movie. Surprisingly.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the one realistic thing about the movie that is played to comic book angles, right? Like it's the Joker flat out killed 2 fashion models to make a funny commercial about his products.
That scene was so confusing.
Absolutely not. I mean, love that.
Yes,
Joker.
it is.
What
we
love that Joker.
No, that is hilarious. But
I don't know what's confusing.
Is there a weird time lapse when he gasses the female news anchor, and then all of a sudden she's in his custody, but they were just showing her on the news? I was so confused.
No, I think she's dead.
The newscaster is so.
I know they're different than the models,
right? The models.
I know that.
And then he was waiting for the story about the models, and then it just so happened basically that the newscaster had the right combination of the toiletries,
yes,
to poison her. So she died, and then he ran the commercial. I mean, like he broke in and ran the commercial.
Yeah, maybe I miss saw something because it looked like he had her at some point in that. I'm going to watch it again, but you're probably right.
Yeah, because she topples back over.
Oh, I know what she does. Yeah. Like, I know that. But
and then it was, because then after that, he
hijacks the thing. I know he does that. Right. And he shows his commercial, but then they showed him with the news anchor, I thought.
No, he was just in his hideout.
Okay. We should talk about the Joker. We're like 50 minutes into this, and we haven't even mentioned him, really.
Oh, we're not.
Like, I know you love Jack Nicholson. You probably want to talk about him.
Oh, yeah, I sure do. This movie. So, have I said that this movie has changed my life?
No, it has.
It did. It did. It has, and it did. And because of this movie, I then went and watched as many Jack Nicholson movies as I could get my hands on.
So this was the catalyst there.
This was the catalyst that ultimately led to, shortly after this, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So, it's like Jack Nicholson shot to the top of my of the charts for me. Also, I'll say it. Shame on people who are kind of ripping on the way he looks and is acting right now, because I do believe he has dementia.
Oh yeah, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, it's like leave him alone.
I mean, here's the thing. Like Jack Nicholson, it's not the paragon of morality. It's not the paragon of like who you want to be as a person. But you can show somebody a little grace and just shut the fuck up. Yeah,
right. And stop taking pictures of him with his hair all crazy when he's.
He did show up at that Laker game though, which was nice with his son.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is clearly a man in decline. Like we all get old and are gonna like lose our marbles a little bit. Like fuck off. Yeah. It's like it's really gross. I agree. It's super gross.
Yeah. So, but anyway, back to the topic at hand. This performance to this day is one of my all-time favorite performances of any actor or actress in any movie, TV show, YouTube short. I don't care what. Fucking everything.
You like this more than Pacino in Dick Tracy?
Oh,
come on.
Yeah. That was just, yeah. It's because of this that Pacino does what he does.
Absolutely.
It's true.
100%. I know that. I was kind of joking.
Everything about this movie is the reason why Dick Tracy. It's why Dick Tracy dicks. But yeah, it
does dick. Dick's a lot.
Dick's a lot. It pegs itself.
But no, it is. I mean, this is. God, I love this. I mean, every scene that the Joker is in and every line that he speaks is just burned into my very soul.
If I can share that, I get that. And I was more impressed with that performance last night than like anything in this film. And I always liked Jack Nicholson as the Joker. Like, what's not to like? But with the exception of him, like, no, even that is great. But the dancing with the boombox and the Prince is a little hokey.
So I love it.
But it's awesome. But it is hokey, right? I'm not being
It's even better when he's on the float and he's doing this.
Oh my god, it's
arm
great.
Pumps to the Prince song. Oh, it's so good.
And then he dances up the stairs. I'm like, is that really Jack Nicholson? I think that's Jack Nicholson.
Fantastic. I love it. That feels like the Joker to me. I don't know.
It's playing up to the character, and I mean, like the whole all the weird things that he does that cannot have been in the script. Like when he leaves Vicky Vale's apartment and he does the fart sound propelling himself down that fucking kills me.
Yeah, it's great. Of course it kills
before he says the wait till they get a load of me, when he's like going ooh, it's like that's not in the script. He is doing right. He's so weird.
Yeah, he does a lot of weird stuff like that. Yeah,
but it's got to be coming from Jack Nicholson. Like there's no way it's not.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I would assume the direction in those scenes is like act weird.
Right. My guess
like not exactly what to do, but
right. Yeah. And he's probably going up to not Danny Elfman, to Tim Burton, and it's like, this is what I'm going to do. And if you like it, great.
I'm sure he didn't even tell him what he's going to do.
Right.
It's Jack Nicholson.
Did a lot of stuff. He probably did a lot. He probably gave him tons to work with. Yeah.
I wonder how many takes there are out there you could watch. It
would be great to have like an archive of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to see hours of that.
My favorite moment, this might be not that original, but my favorite moment in Vicky Vale's apartment is the very end, the punctuation of the joke, the dead flowers in the box, and she faints. I love it. That feels like one of the most Tim Burton things in this movie.
But it's very Joker.
And it's also it's the perfect exhale.
And the sting of the Elfman music. Dun, dun, dun. It's like,
right, but it's a great exhale of some crazy shit just went down in this lady's apartment.
Well, the box is everything. First of all, like it's like a perfectly told joke because the box is everything. When he comes in with it, it's like, oh fuck, what's in the box, right?
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, immediately. And then your attention goes away from the box because the
Although-
danger becomes between the Joker and Bruce. And then it comes back to the box and it's so benign, but it is beautiful. It's so funny.
I also love that both guys, both nuts, by the way, in different ways, both talked about how spacious her apartment is. Nice place.
Well, there's lots of
Lots
symmetry.
space.
There's
Yeah.
lots of symmetry with these two in this
Absolutely.
movie.
Absolutely.
There is. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's way more understated than in other places I've seen that done with villain hero. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Like even their first love scene with Bruce and Vicky Vale, he takes her up the stairs and he throws the shoe. And then later in the movie, the Joker has her shoe.
Yeah, drops
when-
it down. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty subtle, awesome stuff.
Pretty good. It is good.
I do like that Kim Basinger was just like, I'm not going to fucking do anything in these heels. I'm not running. Fuck these. Get them out of here.
No,
It's
she
like-
took him off every time she
every
had to do
time.
something.
Every time. It's so realistic. It's like, fuck you and your stunt running in these heels. No, thank you. No, but like, I know some people is like, I don't really like the fact that the origin of Batman and the Joker are intertwined like they are. I don't fucking care.
meh,
I don't.
I don't like it
Who
either,
cares?
but it's fine in this movie.
But I don't care. Yeah, it's like it's fine for a narrative, and it figures out a way without, at this point in time, would have been 50 years of canon to intertwine these two characters the way that, again, 50 years of comic book continuity did. That's fine.
I think it's fine.
It is fine, but it's not needed either.
It's not really needed, but
Yeah.
but it works. Or it works for this at least.
Yeah.
It works because they cast some dude who looks just like a young Jack Nicholson. It's crazy. It's like he almost looks like Christian Slater. He looks so much like a young Jack Nicholson.
It's like, fuck me, he cleared it.
Yeah, everything that Will Scarlet does in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is because of Jack Nicholson's everything everybody does in any performance they ever do is because of Jack Nicholson's performance. I'm
Yeah.
convinced of it.
All of
I'll
it.
figure out a way to tie it back to Jack Nicholson.
a few quick hitters. I love that the two news anchors
Yeah, you said this last night.
they look like seriously, they look like they've been living in squalor for years. They got zits growing all over their face, and like pale, and look on really on the verge of death from not having a shower for 2 weeks.
Well,
That
it's not so
kills
much
me.
that they haven't showered; it's that they don't have the makeup for their
It still
TV
is like
personality.
way over the top.
Yeah,
it's
it's
really
great. It's
funny.
so-
I
it's so
love
Tim
it.
Burton.
I think it's hilarious.
It's
but
perfectly Tim Burton.
I love that the whole plot of the Joker is to poison everyone with Smilex when it's already in the Gotham water supply.
Right.
from the very first scene. The name of the museum is the Flugelheim. That
Yes.
cracked me up. That cracks me up. The Joker's favorite artist is Francis Bacon. It's pretty funny. Something in common with David Lynch. I did it.
Now, next episode, I need to figure out a way to connect "It's a Mad, 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 Mad World" to Jack Nicholson's. I have to balance these scales.
I really, man. All right. There's two scenes in this movie that are my favorite scenes in the movie. And they both are the Batmobile. And they're both because of Danny Elfman's music. My two favorite scenes are when Vicky Vale and Batman are driving into the Batcave in the Batmobile after he saves her.
With all the leaves on the ground and stuff.
Oh God, I
It's
love
so
it.
good.
Oh.
And the music is like, it's perfect. Like the way it builds is really well. There's only 2 times it builds like that. And the second time is when Batman goes to Axis Chemicals and blows that shit up.
It's not.
That
But
scene is
Batman
amazing.
doesn't go to Axis Chemicals. He just sends the Batmobile.
That's true. He just sends the Batmobile.
Yeah, that's so great.
Good. I love the way that whole thing looks. Those are the moments. That moment in particular gives it a much grander scale. It looks so good. I fucking love it. I know it's all models, but it looks great.
Right.
Yeah, there is some good. There's some good work.
But the music in both those scenes, it gives me goosebumps every time. Yep.
Yeah. Well, and that's taking down Axis Chemicals comes right after my least favorite scene, which is my least favorite scene is punctuated with a line that I love with, he's out there and I got to go to work. And he does. He goes, that is a great way to kick off the third act. He's
it is.
Blow that shit up.
Yep.
And kill all those people.
Well, they're all criminals.
My favorite Joker line is, "You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you?"
Which reminded me when he said that, which is hilarious because every time Stephanie is fake mad at me, she's always like, "Take off your glasses."
That's
funny.
I do like when they're in the Belfry, and there's a couple of things I like about the Belfry. One, he kills one guy. Batman kills one guy by basically shoving his crotch up through his fucking throat. The guy who comes in with does all the flips and he's got the knives in his boots.
Yeah, it's like Indiana Jones almost.
Right.
A little bit. Yeah.
Well, then the second guy just comes in and crashes through the floor.
Yep. He just turns around and he falls.
But then I always like when Vicky notices the Batman's defeated the goons, so she needs to distract the Joker, and she's like starting to kiss his arm and everything.
Yeah.
Nicholson's look on his face, like, this shit is working. Like, what? Like he's incredulous, but he's kind of into it.
I do also love the build up to he stole my balloons.
Oh my god!
And how increasingly
Why did you
angry
tell me he had one of those things?
Is that like a Superman 4 kind of dig almost of the nuclear weapons removal?
I think it's just Jack. I think
it feels
just
Superman 4-ish. Not what Jack Nicholson says. The fact that he takes the balloons that would have killed everybody. It's just like Superman 4.
I don't know. I look at it as of course Batman has one of those things.
Yeah.
Not the thing though. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the act.
Well, that's what I'm saying too, though. It's of course Batman has a way to deal with that.
Right.
I don't know.
So
I didn't think about Superman 4 if that's what you're asking.
Yeah,
so.
It's I only think about Superman 4 when I watch Batman and Robin. And how much better fucking Superman 4 is than Batman and Robin. That's the only time I ever think about Superman 4.
I thought about it when we watched it.
Well, okay. Sure.
What about
I try not to watch it.
Still, though.
Yeah. What about the Invisible Man 4 or the Invisible Man scene? It's kind of Invisible Man-esque when he's all wrapped up before he...
Oh, yeah. When he...
I like that scene, yeah.
When the guy's when you have to understand the tools I have to work with, and it's all fucking...
rusty.
Yeah.
But he's kind of sitting there like Invisible Man a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like a lot of that early stuff with the scene in the chair and then just seeing a peek of his face when he's coming into Jack Palance's office.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
you see the
good
smile
scene.
in the hat. That's
What's
so
the
great.
line? He said, "You betrayed me. You betrayed me for a woman. A woman?
Mm-hmm.
You crazy?"
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
I mean, and of course, there's a line.
You must be. That's what he says. You set me up over a woman. A woman. You must be insane. That's good.
I have given a name to my pain, and it is Batman. That's good shit too.
Yep.
Well, there's just so many lines, particularly from Jack Nicholson, that are just too good not to when they're coming, you just got to say them. You just got to say him with the movie. You just got to say it.
When he fries the dude at the meeting.
Oh my god!
So that's another one, right? So like there's that meeting of all the bosses,
and
right?
he's asserting,
and of course, in Nolan's, that's when the pencil trick happens. But
right.
But that's still a thing, right?
He's fusing two things.
He's fusing two things, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that whole scene is great, and oh my god, like Jack Nicholson in that whole moment where he's frying him with his hand is perfect. It's perfect, insane. I go, hoo, 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 hoo. Little auditor's collar.
Yeah,
but you would agree, though, that's all good.
Time in the Old Town Tonight.
Yes. Yes. Hot Town in the City. Hot Town in the Old Town. What?
Hot Time in the Old Town Tonight. Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Thank you. That's what you said, and I didn't catch it. You would agree, though, in Nolan's version, that's all just really fucking good homage.
Right? Oh yeah.
It's absolutely good. It is just as good, if not better in some ways. But it's like it's great because of its connection to the past, right?
Yeah.
And its recognition. Thank you, Jesus Christ.
Thank you for calling me by my real name.
Thank you, Jesus Christ.
Jeffus Christ.
Because it's you don't have to acknowledge Batman 89, right? You don't have to.
No.
Right.
That movie can stand on its own, but it takes some things that work and it allows both to happen, and it gives a little nod in a non-fan servicey way.
Right. Even the line, sorry, this town needs an enema, and this town deserves a better class of criminal, and I'm going to give it to him.
Yeah.
Is almost like the same fucking thing, but in a different way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, it hits the same beats, right?
Right.
It's like the song. Fuck you, George Lucas. But it's like it's singing the same song, right?
It's a remake of the song that's classy. Yeah.
And it all works, but it's not exactly the same. Which brings me to something I kind of mentioned early on in this episode about the new Flash movie. I don't really love the line in its use that they've been putting in all the trailers. Let's get nuts. You want to get nuts?
Well,
Let's get nuts.
But remember that line though?
Why? But why? Why?
Because it's a line he says.
But why?
Yes, we remember the line.
It's the most Batman line ever because member berries and whatnot.
I know what it is.
Oh, I know. I don't like
that's
it.
That's the stuff that kind of like rankles me. Right?
It's too direct.
Can't we be a little smarter than that? Can't we be Christopher Nolan?
No,
right?
This is the Flash from the old universe. So you get
what I'm getting at here is like there's two ways of honoring the past.
Right.
There's the way where you kind of hit the same beats, you sing, you play the same chords, and you do something different, and then there's the other way where you just like cheaply say the same fucking tagline, like Batman. Michael Keaton's been saying it for years.
That's the thing I was gonna
give me a break.
That's kind of hokey. Like Batman has continued to say this line, totally hokey. But the fact that it's the same actor, the same Batman, allows me, at least in theory, to forgive it a little bit. But yes, like Batman has got his tagline for the last 20 years has been "Let's get crazy."
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
And if you see it in the trailer, it's not even in the same context as.
No, it's not in the same context. It's not even the same exact line.
So I hate to be that guy who like shits on something.
You don't hate to be that guy.
I don't.
You love to be that guy.
I don't know if I do.
You don't. Okay.
You love to give shit where it's.
But this kind of deserves a little bit of a slap in the face. It's like, come on, like this is.
I dare you.
This is lazy. It's lazy.
I dare you to name the actual director of the Flash movie.
Fuck if I know.
Ezra Miller.
No. It's Andy Muschietti.
Who's that?
Oh, the It director.
Oh,
Yes.
really? Oh,
I mean, it actually, to me, it looks like a worthy watch.
I think
get
Oh,
it'd be
it looks like
well,
a fine
apparently
movie.
Stephen King loved it and Tom Cruise loved it because that's the new way to promote your movies that you're not sure if they're going to go either way is to get famous people
Wait,
to watch
Stephen
it
King liked The
and
Flash?
say that they
Yes.
loved it. Yeah.
But he also liked Andy
I mean, did they-
Muschietti's. He also liked Andy Muschietti's It. So
I
did he
don't trust Stephen King's opinion on movies farther than I can throw either of you.
isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Like,
I dare you to
Jeff,
try
you
to
said,
throw either of us.
Jeff, you said something. I think you were trying to be funny, like last week. Stephen King doesn't know how to end his movies either. Well, no shit.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah, because spoiler alert, I wrote an article for next month for Maximum Overdrive. And
Right.
that movie ends like poop.
Stephen King is one of the greatest writers. Well,
Up to a certain
greatest
point.
genre writers of all time. No,
Sure,
yes,
sure.
and then he can't end shit. But I'm with
He's
you,
done it a
Jason.
couple times, but it's pretty rare. Yep.
Yes, and when he sticks the landing, it's fucking. That's like majestic.
Well, yeah, because it's like, holy shit, he did it.
Yeah, not only that, but it's actually really
But it's-
good.
well, yes,
but I get
exactly.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, he also like. I don't know if I trust his taste on most stuff.
I don't.
either.
I don't. I think
But
I
yeah.
trust his taste a lot on novels. I've done a couple summers where I
You read
did
Drood,
where I
which was
did the
good.
Stephen King reading list. Yeah, and they were all pretty damn good. Movies.
Well, I
though?
will give
No,
him. I
no.
will give him the credit
No.
of saying that. Hey, this Clyde Barker guy is pretty good. Because Clyde Barker is pretty good
Well,
yeah,
interestingly enough, the
in terms
writers
of
of
the
the
figure
Flash,
in horror. Yeah.
the sole screenwriter of the Flash is Christina Hodson, who wrote Bumblebee
Yeah,
and
I'm
Birds of
into that.
Prey.
I'm
And
into
Birds of
that, too.
Prey,
I like Birds of Prey.
So that's pretty good. Also awesome that screenplay written by a woman on a superhero movie. Very cool. The story is by some people I don't know other than, well, actually one of them is the screenwriter and director of Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Oh, okay, I can dig it.
Also wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got some good stuff there. And then this is interesting. The other story by credit is John Francis
This is
Daly,
Daily, yeah.
who was on Freaks and Geeks. He was Sam on Freaks and Geeks. That's so weird.
Yeah.
And he also a co-writer of Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah.
So it's got some good
here's the
pedigree.
thing.
It's got
Here's
some
the
good
thing.
pedigree on it.
It's got some stuff in it, but like some of these people could be for hire. They, obviously they're working from the old universe. This is not the James Gunn, and I'm sorry, you weirdos who think that Zack Snyder is anything remotely James Gunn. I'm
No,
sorry, you're fucking wrong.
No, Zack Snyder doesn't know a joke from a fucking
Punch in the
funeral.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean this. So you're working from yes, I know this is also supposed to somehow work. I'm getting New 52 vibes all over this, and I don't like it. And Jason,
All
that doesn't
over
mean
what?
all over the Flash because because Flashpoint created New 52.
Right,
I'm getting
right.
the same fucking thing here because I think this was originally supposed to be called Flashpoint.
But
I'm worried about that because that is a plan that's half baked after things were already in motion.
But nobody denies that it needs a reset. If DC
Oh, it
is
absolutely
gonna do the
needs
same,
a
it needs a
reset.
reset.
And Warner is trying to keep whatever they can and recoup whatever they can.
And I think with James Gunn at the helm,
Oh, he's going to be fine.
he'll make some. I'm really interested in what he's going to do with Superman. That's
I like it.
interesting.
I like the weird shit he's promising too.
I do. I mean that's what James Gunn does well, in my
Yes,
opinion.
he
Is
does.
weird.
Oh,
It's
Swamp
weird.
Thing's going to be amazing. I think.
I am all for that. Yep.
I love Swamp Thing. And the closer it can be to the Alan Moore Swamp Thing, as weird as that got.
I think it'll be half and half.
Oh,
think so,
sure.
too.
But Alan Moore really set the stage for how weird the Swamp Thing stories could be and work.
But in how serious and political and like,
Sure.
there's a lot to
Sure.
that Swamp Thing. Yeah.
James Gunn has a really uncanny way of bringing a lot of just weirdness into his productions and making it feel kind of like it's always been there.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you watch the Guardians movies, especially the last two, man, there's some weird fucking shit in those movies.
Monsters that eat batteries?
And you almost
That's
have
weird.
to kind of like take a pause and
Yeah.
think about it. It's like, wait a minute, that's really weird.
Suicide Squad does the same shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
it does.
And it's
Yeah,
wonderful.
absolutely.
It's
Yep.
wonderful.
And then,
Oh
Jeff,
my God,
have you watched Peacemaker yet?
No.
You got to watch it.
You're
You're gonna
don't
love
say
it. You're
Don't
gonna love
say
it.
it.
I know
Don't
I shouldn't say it, but come
Don't
on,
watch
I mean,
it. It's
The
terrible.
pedigree
Thank you,
around
Chuck.
it. The
I'm gonna watch
pedigree
it
around It's
No,
a
I
little,
know.
It's a little weird you haven't seen it.
I know. I got to
a
see
little
because I love John Cena. You know, I love John Cena.
I know. I know. It'll scratch some of that John Cena itch. Yeah.
Chuck, I can't see.
Chuck's waving his finger
I know,
in front of his face.
No,
It'll scratch a lot
but
of that John Cena itch.
Well, and that
It's
takes
itchy.
us back to the writer of the Flash.
He'll
writing-
scratch that itch with his dick.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I necessarily need that, but
And fucking Robert Patrick in that. Oh my God.
But no, taking it back to the writer of the Flash. I mean, of course, he's got one of my favorite lines in Bumblebee. He's got the line from Bumblebee, John Cena. So
Oh yeah.
these guys are
Well-
called Decepticons. It was like,
What about the fucking guy that wrote this, Sam Hamm? He like didn't do
yeah. So
anything.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
well, Sam Hamm, I think he did, and I was going to bring this up actually, because yeah, it is kind of funny what Sam Hamm didn't really do much of after.
He's got like 6, 7 films.
Well, he's got 11 total,
It's weird that he wrote a Masters of Horror. That's really strange.
Yeah.
but he did do he did a little bit of Batman. He did the story to Batman Returns,
Yeah.
which if he had done the screenplay for Batman Returns, it would be my second favorite Batman movie. But instead, they got the guy who did Hudson Hawk to do the script, and it's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
It's a bad script. But
Wait
anyway,
a minute. Hudson Hawk was awesome and started the COVID pandemic. What are you talking about? Jeff, you liked Hudson Hawk when we talked about it.
no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back and listen.
Yeah,
Jason was
go back and
kinda
listen
did.
to it. No, I didn't. I remember calling Italians a bunch of greaseballs or something because of that movie. I got kind of mean. But anyway,
All right, we'll go back to the tape, listeners. We'll see.
yeah, go back.
Settle
You're
this
not
for
going to
us.
find a very happy Jeff on Hudson Hawk. I fucking hate that movie. Anyway,
Well,
but Sam Hamm, I think, ended up doing a novelization of this, or at least had a hand in the novelization of this. And there was one thing that I always thought was really, because this was back when like you like get a novelization of a movie because, well, you can't get it on, DVD or streaming or whatever. So it's like it might take some time to get to you. So you go and you read the book or you get a comic book adaptation or whatever. But the novelization of Batman had one thing that always stood out. For the most part, everything was just as the movie was, right? But one thing that recontextualized the end of the movie or that final showdown is that Batman is sincerely and quite heavily injured by the Batwing crashing. Like, I think they said basically like all of his ribs on one side of his body is broken or something
Right.
like that. That's why he stumbles and he knocks over the rows of pews.
of course.
And the reason why the third guy who jumps out to try to beat him up, like, really nearly gets him. And it's like there's a whole subtext there of like this is building the Batman that we all would know or would come to know, which is he doesn't take care of himself and he's going to keep going to stop the bad guy, basically. And he is in like severe pain throughout the entirety, like even to the point where it's like he's barely hanging on to that ledge that he's with Vicky on.
That felt pretty obvious to me in the movie.
Well, sure, but I mean, like when I was 12, like it recontextualized like the whole like, he's not really doing that well against the big guy that he ends up bashing his head against the bell and knocking him off, and
Dude.
like the whole his movements are even more restrained by his suit.
Did either of you read the Batman 89 comic?
I did.
How was it?
It's fine.
Because he wrote that, Sam Hain.
Yeah, he did. He turned. Yeah, basically it was
Sam Hain. It's
Hain.
pronounced Samhain.
Well, Samhain. That's not your name, Sam. It's Samhain.
But no, that Batman 89 comic, it basically took Billy D. Williams and turned him into Two-Face.
Okay.
And it's kind of interesting.
That was always going to be the thing, right? Like,
right.
That should have always happened, yeah.
And there is a young, basically, Harvey Dent is starting to get corrupted by his power, basically. And there's a growing schism between Harvey Dent being the DA and Batman being a vigilante. And it's leading to Harvey Dent ultimately trying to usurp power in Gotham City to become like a senator or something.
The White Knight?
Kind of, yeah. Like he's kind of and it uses like this black portion of town where there is this young mechanic who is ultimately what would have been the Damon Wayans Robin. That was the original plan back, for the early 90s.
Samhain also co-wrote Never Cry Wolf with Curtis Hanson. Interesting. First credit. Never Cry Wolf was one of those movies that was on TBS all the fucking time.
Yep.
I watched that movie a lot, and it always sticks out when because the whole concept of that movie was it was this guy. It's based on a true story. It's based on a true guy who was a biologist studying caribou and wolves in like the Arctic, I think, and or at least in the wilderness. And he was trying to get in the mindset of the wolf, right? So he's trying to live like the wolf. And the wolves in this area lived on rats. So he started eating only rats, and he was trying to find different ways to like prepare them and blend them. Like there was one scene where he blends them and he drinks them, and there's like the rat tail. It's so gross, and it always sticks out in my mind. Pretty decent movie though. Charles Martin Smith is the lead.
This is not where I expected Batman 89 to go.
Yeah, well, we go where Samhain goes.
We go where Samhain takes us.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, anything else on Batman?
But again, just to kind of, this was the movie that, it's I have to assume that this was still kind of early in the idea of ever bringing anything that was from comic books or anything like that into mainstream kind of acceptance.
We kind of owe a lot to this movie.
Absolutely.
And owe some grief to this movie in some ways, but yeah.
In some ways. The grief comes in the form of Batman and Robin, again, to bring that up.
Well, they kept going in a campy direction rather than where Nolan ended up taking it, Right,
which was the more grounded, more realistic. Because
more better.
And if you compare Batman 89 to Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, it's a lot more grounded, a lot more realistic in its tone.
Yeah,
even with the oddity that is the Tim Burton mindset. But this would have still been a huge gamble, much like Superman the movie was. And by the way, Superman 78 is a good comic also.
I was going to ask, if you'd read that too.
Yep, I read both of them basically back to back. It's good. Yeah. Brainiacs and Superman 78.
Nice.
So, there is this there had to be some sort of a gamble, but man, did the marketing department of Warner Brothers just nail this.
Through the roof, man. Marketing
And
was insane.
yeah, and just knowing that how to sell it to both adults and to kids, perfect.
I mean,
Just
adults
perfect.
should have been in regardless, but yeah, I agree with you. Like,
Well,
it was marketed perfectly.
Sure. I mean, and I think that I think there is some argument to say that maybe adults wouldn't have been, because I mean, back then, like even if adults grew up on the Batman stuff or on the Batman TV show, the previews, I don't know how much it would have appealed to them, because back then, of course, there was a lot of concept of, well,
the
comic books
previews
are
is
for
marketing.
kids.
What do you mean?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like looking at it, the adults would have said, "This isn't Batman. This isn't what I know."
Well,
And
so
on
how
top
did the
of that,
marketing? Well, let me ask you a question.
well, I'm getting to it,
All right.
but like also,
He's getting to the answer to the question you haven't asked yet.
well,
Yeah.
no, I mean like there's the gamble on this was, one, you would have had to have broken the hold that the 66 show would have had. You also have to break through the concept of, okay, Superman and Superman 2 in particular are not the rule, they're the exception, because typically superheroes, comic books, stuff like that are for kids. So you would have had to have broken through that, and there was a long period, pretty much the entire 80s, in between Superman 2 and Batman, where there weren't other good superhero movies made. There were 2 more Superman movies, but they were very kiddie and they're very stupid. So there's the gamble there that they would have had to have broken through. They would have had to have known that a fair number of people would have said no to this Batman compared to the 66 version.
Who would have had to have known this?
Marketing. Their marketing team had to have
Right.
calculated.
So what I'm asking is, how did they break through it if not with the previews that you said?
They had to break. They had to break through it with
Cups?
with kids and teenagers. That's how they had to break through it. They would have had to have broken through that to the point where the kids would have said, "I want to go see this," to the point where the parents would have had to have taken them. Then the parents would have said, "Hey, I kind of want to see this again." They would have had to have recouped.
That was an easy sell to us kids. I mean, the marketing was huge, but you're acting like it was some genius ploy to get the kids. That's a natural thing.
But what it was the saturation of the marketing.
Right.
Like, it's the first time I remember just this full blanket marketing saturation. Like,
yeah, but adults were probably fucking sick of it.
Oh, I'm sure they were, but their kids weren't.
Right.
Their kids were. It was just like giving them food for fodder. Yeah, we were. I'm not saying, Chuck, I'm not saying it's like any genius move, but it really hadn't been done before.
No, I get that. Wars. I get that. But I'm
other than Star Wars, but even Star Wars was late to the marketing.
Yeah.
Like, Star Wars marketing was late. And that movie, kind of the marketing came with the word of mouth. And the merchandising, but the merchandising around Batman was out of fucking control.
I agree with all that. My point was like, getting the easy targets to get their parents to go to the movie wasn't some kind of genius maneuver. Getting ahead of merchandising and making money before the movie even fucking came out was the genius part of it, right? We all wanted to go the first time we saw anything about Batman. Like, it sold us immediately, I feel like.
Well, yeah, but they still had to know how to market a movie that was more adult than the kids that they were. I mean, they still had to say, okay, hey, this movie is.
I watched the original trailer the other day. It is not like kid directed.
No, but at the same time, it appealed to us as kids.
Right, but they were marketing towards adults almost with the trailer. So it's not like, I don't know.
It was, at the very least, everything about this was a gamble.
Sure, but that's not the point. Like,
to make the movie was a gamble.
That I agree with, but that's not marketing. So,
no, but then to make the movie, they then had to then say, okay.
But marketers sold the movie.
Exactly.
Yes,
they had to sell. They had to sell it to two different audiences in two different ways. You know, you put Batman on something, the kids are coming. But how do you sell that in a way and market it in a way to where adults are curious about it? Well, you have Alfred selling Diet Coke and talking to Bruce Wayne or Batman about getting a Diet Coke.
I don't know if you guys... stupid. That's just stupid. Who does that appeal to? Nobody.
But it's the saturation. It gets that in front of parents who are watching Moonlight at 10 o'clock at night.
That is using the movie to sell a product, not a product to sell the movie.
I agree with that.
But
that's not getting anyone to go see the movie.
Come on.
No, but I mean, but it's no, but it may not be necessarily the full reason why an adult goes to see a movie, but it has to do with that saturation, right? It puts the product in front of the people who are buying that product or buying the physical product.
Sure.
It's putting Batman in front of them with that product.
If you want to say the marketing saturation was really smart, I can agree with that. But it's not like it felt real targeted, is what I was saying. Like,
no, but if you put it in enough places, it's going to get in front of different types of people. And so that is what's important, is that, okay, well, what are adults going to say? Oh, kids aren't going to be sold Diet Coke, but parents would. And if it's like, yeah, that's that movie that Timmy keeps saying he wants to go see. Okay, it's kind of clever.
I don't agree with that, but
then why would they make that commercial then if it doesn't work?
Because they wanted the movie to sell the product. I already said that.
But
the movie is selling the product there, and Coca-Cola paid to be in the movie.
I'm saying that
I know
marketers are going to look for any reason to put their product in front of somebody's eyes. So that is, but
Coca-Cola is paying for that, not Warner Brothers.
There's a little bit of it's the marketing department of Warner Brothers saying, we're going to be in this agreement. We need to have a Diet Coke commercial with this setup.
I don't know fully about that. They probably have.
Coca-Cola is not making a Batman commercial without Warner Brothers controlling.
Absolutely, but they're okay.
I don't know what we're arguing about, but Michael Keaton had made a lot of bombs. He made Mr. Mom and Beetlejuice.
Hasn't or has made a lot of bombs?
Well, I mean, before this, Mr. Mom and Beetlejuice are really the only movies that were.
Gung Ho. I love that movie though.
Gung Ho made money, but not a bunch.
No, I was saying that's probably on the bomb side.
No, that's actually one of the better ones of the bombs. But I mean, that's the other thing. This movie's coming a year after Beetlejuice.
But there was with
a hot
movie.
director and
Tim Burton got to make this movie because of Beetlejuice, basically.
Yeah, and I mean there's something to be said for momentum as well.
Yeah, it was organic. I think it was organic too, a little bit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And there is a smaller movie that didn't make hardly any money for Michael Keaton, but probably ultimately landed him the role, and that was Clean and Sober, because it proved that he could be serious as a serious actor. Yeah.
Nobody saw that, but yeah.
He's a little serious but it got Mr. Mom.
Sure, but I mean, but that's still a comedy.
Mr. Mom made money.
Yeah.
But no,
I'm just saying that
was a legitimate hit. Yeah.
But Clean and Sober was the one that critics liked his performance a lot. They maybe didn't all like the movie, and it was not a movie to make money. I mean, it was a loss leader.
Well, I think people liked Michael Keaton just in general.
Well, it's probably I see what Zach.
Come on, Zach.
I hear what you're saying, Jeff. Though it's the movie that probably was able to sell him as doing the Bruce Wayne, serious. Yeah. Yeah, the serious side of Batman. Right.
Yeah.
Because Beetlejuice, I mean, hell, the studio on the strength of Beetlejuice would probably be like, why isn't he playing the Joker? Yeah.
Sure. Well,
That would have been too similar, probably.
Probably.
Like
Probably.
But that's the way studios think. I mean, yeah.
I mean, the list of actors that they wanted to play these various parts. I mean, Burton, Warner Brothers initially wanted Pierce Brosnan.
For Batman?
Yeah.
God, that would have been bad.
That's weird. That'd be weird. He'd
but
be a
then
good Bruce
also-
Wayne. He'd be a good Bruce Wayne.
But you also have somebody who, I mean, like then they were like, well, what about Mel Gibson? He's our Lethal Weapon guy.
That's not good.
Kevin Costner, Charlie Sheen, Tom Selleck, Bill Murray, Harrison Ford, Dennis Quaid. And then it was
Bill Murray as Batman is something else.
Right.
I don't
But
think
then
any
when
of
John
those.
Peters, now John Peters is the crazy person. He is nuts. But
He's the spider guy, right? Like I want a giant mechanical spider in my movie.
Yep. Now, and he was also Bradley Cooper in The Only Good Thing About Licorice Pizza.
Yeah. Yeah.
He suggested Michael Keaton after seeing Clean and Sober.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go.
And so Burton was like, yeah, I just directed him. Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Then for the Joker, Tim Curry, David Bowie, John Lithgow, Brad Dourif, Ray Liotta, and James Woods.
Whoa,
Those are all-
Go slower there. Go slower there.
Tim Curry,
Love it.
Yes.
David Bowie,
Kind of
Maybe.
like it. It probably wouldn't work, but I'd like to see a screen test.
John Lithgow did.
That'd be fucking amazing.
I'd love Lithgow.
But then he said, I don't want this role. Do not cast me. And then immediately regretted it.
I just watched Buckaroo Banzai again, and John Lithgow is basically the Joker in that movie, and he's fucking amazing.
John Lithgow's awesome.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad Dourif,
I like that too. Man, I like that a lot.
Ray Liotta would have been the coked up.
That's no, I don't see that.
He would be a Nolan Joker.
I
maybe,
can see
like
him as
real world.
I see more of him as like underworld, like
Penguin?
or something.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can see that.
James Woods.
No.
No.
Now, Burton wanted to cast John Glover,
Oh, ha.
but the studio said there has to be a movie star. Rob Williams is like, I really want to do this.
I would have liked it.
Who?
Well,
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams.
As the Joker? Yeah, I'm sure he did.
But Jack Nicholson had been the studio's choice since 1980.
Huh.
And John Peters was, I think, the producer on Witches of Eastwick. And said that, and he's like, well, you know.
John Glover looks like the Riddler.
Well, he
Well,
is.
he
He
voiced
did
the
play the
Riddler.
Riddler. On
Yeah.
the
Oh, you're
TV
right.
series.
Yeah.
He did.
He was
my
the
God.
voice of the Riddler. Yeah.
He also looks like the Riddler. Like he should play the Riddler, though.
But yeah, but Nicholson was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I want points. And he made a bunch of money off this movie.
Oh, I'm sure. You know who made some money? We didn't mention it last episode, but Carradine got 10% of gross on Death Race 2000.
That worked out pretty well for
It
him.
worked out pretty well for him. He made some good money on that, and he really hadn't started a movie at the time either. He was like the Kane from Kung Fu, and that was it.
Yeah, so this is also where we get into the Sean Young insanity. She was originally cast as Vicky Vale, got injured,
Yeah.
and so they had to try to find somebody, and John Peters like, what about Kim Basinger? She was able to join, and there she was. Sean Young
Kind of lucked out there with Kim
maybe,
Basinger.
yeah, probably. But then that meant that Sean Young felt entitled to be in the next movie,
Right.
and then she lobbied hard to be be Catwoman, to the point where it got weird
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
maybe at times maybe bordering on stalkery.
With the director?
With everything about Batman Returns. Yeah. Like she would make public appearances dressed as Catwoman. It was weird, man.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was weird. By the way, so last thing I really have to say about anything behind the scenes with this, there was a running joke on David Letterman's show about how many times he went and saw this movie, and he would start asking other guests if they had seen Batman during their
I remember
interviews.
this. I remember
And it's
this.
fucking hilarious. Like he was obsessed. He was more obsessed with this movie than I was.
Have you seen Batman?
Yeah, basically, he would talk about like, yeah, I saw it 19 times or whatever. You know, it's great. It was great. That whole summer of '89, he wanted to know who saw Batman.
David knows a bit. So when he asked a couple times, he's like, "Yeah, people are laughing at this. I'm like,
got any gum?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's Uma Oprah, except for
Same
funnier. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I love this movie.
It's a lot of fun. It really is.
Tim
It's
Curry's Joker. Man.
It's kind of a disservice we never saw that, but we are lucky. Like we've
got some good Jokers.
We've gotten some damn good Joker performances over the years.
Yeah, we have.
And
I
honestly,
think we have one waiting in the wings too.
if Barry,
Barry
I'm going to
Keoghan.
say Barry Keegan or however you pronounce it, Barry Samhain.
Yeah.
However you pronounce it, this is when I first saw the Batman, which I really liked. I was like, who's this guy? And then I watched Jason, I can't remember the name of the movie, Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, if we get this kid playing the Joker, I will be so happy. So looking forward to
you'd
that.
never seen him in anything before that?
No, not that I remembered anyway. I think there's a movie he was in that I saw that I didn't recall him actually.
Oh yeah, there is something. Yeah, I mean, he was in the Eternals also, so I'd seen that before the Batman.
But we're in for it. Like I feel like
it'll be a good one when he gets there.
I feel like it will be.
He's been in some good stuff. He's good. I hope they do something with the look of him though. Like from the scene they showed, which you can't really tell what he looks like. It looks a little, I don't know.
They said it might be different from the look.
You didn't see Dunkirk?
No, I never watched Dunkirk, which is weird because I love Christopher.
He was the lead in that.
Yeah.
I recommend Killing of a Sacred Deer. He's really
That's
good.
the one you recommended to me.
Yeah.
I have Dunkirk and what's that other Nolan movie I have not watched?
What about Green Knight? Didn't you go see Green Knight with us? He's in that.
Oh yeah, he was.
You're right. Bit part though, right?
Yeah, a really small part.
Yeah.
It's a pretty memorable part, but small.
Yeah. I think I just didn't know who he was. So
Fair enough.
Yeah. So you guys,
I got nothing else.
You guys recommend this movie? I mean, yeah, right? Yeah,
Yeah, it's all right.
right?
Yeah.
It's all right.
For sure. Yeah. I mean,
I give it a 2.5 out of 5. 2.5 million out of 5. Just 5.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
I tried to get both my kids to watch it and they wouldn't.
Huh.
They're missing out. Those kids don't know what's good for them.
I told them that. I mean,
I know. Tell them that I said that too. You don't know what's good for you.
And kid too likes to watch movies, but I showed her the trailer and she was like, yeah. I'm like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. She's like,
Good.
And I feel like
What did she say? Did she say why? Would she say, what was her, I want to know. Like, ask her what about the trailer made her think, nah. Like, what, like, specifically, what was her reaction? What did she think it looked
Yeah, I'll
old?
ask her.
Did
I'll
she
ask
think
her.
it looked cheap? Did she think it looked small? Like, I'm curious, legitimately curious about how the studio blockbusters of those days look to kids
I
today.
will say that the trailers for this movie are not that impressive 34 years later, 35 years later.
They're not.
They're not. I mean, they're short. They only show very small bits. They almost feel rushed, put together. Like they're not like They're not the trailers that Marvel puts out today.
I'll just
show her the scene where she where the Joker fries the guy at the bar.
Okay.
Show her that scene and ask her if she wants to watch more.
I'll do that. I will say right now, Kid 1 doesn't like watching movies. Kid 2 just wants Kid 1 to watch Nope with her. That's like always the conversation at my house. Are we going to watch Nope? Let's watch Nope.
Oh my God.
Which is funny. Like, Kid 2, has an appreciation for film. And she figures shit out sometimes that I'm like, oh, I didn't notice that. We were watching Blood Simple. She's like, that's too many bullets. Or something like in that scene where someone gets shot in a bed. She's like, oh yeah, they didn't shoot all the bullets or something. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice this. And she did it in another Nolan film. What's the one we like, Jason? Oh my God.
Prestige.
The Prestige. She did it with the Prestige. Figured
Would she know if Dirty Harry fired 5 times or 6 times?
Yes, she'd also know if Han shot first if she'd watch Star Wars with me.
Yeah.
I'm
McClunky.
Go ahead. Sorry, I'm
all right. So, yeah, I mean, hey, I think this is good stuff. I think those kids don't know what's good for them.
I agree. I mean, I say watch everything. Watch everything.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe Kid 2 can be a guest on here someday. Someday. Anyway, so yeah, I think we did it.
We did it. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, what's mad?
The world?
Yep, next week. It's mad.
5 times.
Mad.
5 times mad.
4 times.
4 times?
4 times.
4 times mad.
I'm going to add another one because it's that.
Okay, well, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's gotten worse. If we remade this movie, there'd be one more mad in there.
Yeah, I'm surprised there aren't more at this point. Yeah.
This one goes to 5. So, yeah, next Wednesday, we're going to go on a race for a bunch of money, and it's a mad world.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
It's been a while.
It's a long one, but it's a fun one. This is classic, just good times watching a movie. But that is next Wednesday at filmseizure.com. You can also you can also go there to find out the various places you can follow us and so forth. Also next week on Monday, I have a little show called Monster Mondays, and it is looking at the pilot episode of Tales from the Dark Side called Trick or Treat. It's a nice little ditty, nice little 30 minutes of TV enjoyment there.
I like it.
That I did that so that I can start watching other episodes of that for the show. So same place, filmseizure.com. Go to all those places to find out when and where things happen. This Friday at my website, bmovieanima.com, we have Zombie 5, Killing Birds.
I kind of like that movie.
It's got some moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. But anyway, go there Friday morning to read the review. That's filmseizure.com. Or I'm not sorry, bmovieanima.com for that. Filmseizure.com for It's a Mad World and Tales from the Dark Side, Trick or Treat. All right. So, yeah, until next week when we go seeking out those riches, I am Jeff Arbuckle.
I am Jeff's marketing foil.
And I am Batman. And you have been listening to Film Seizure.
I was hoping somebody was going to be Batman.